check.
Mr. Bill.
Oh, did you sign that?
No, I didn't. I just didn't give you the whole plan.
The boarding place is very nice, the labels.
The flips are down here already.
I already paid for it.
Yeah.
Ready, Bill?
Yep.
Kristen Patch, 42226. Christine Bollinger, 65390. Michael Gurley, 50870. Mark Turner, 36507. Jeremy Worcester, 63873. Matthew Bergeron, 22876. Keith Culligan, 102573. John Frizzle, 2787. Stephanie Lazat Curto, 24441. Tim Lederman, 75058. Jared St. Ange, 5156. Joyce Keeper, 33595. Rachel Mowbray, 4432.
For a total of $5,317.84.
George Abel, 142988. Eleanor Cherry, 99557. Jared Olsenall, 89808. Joe Bird, 79565. Mark Brighton, 66919. William Campbell, 246408. Karen Clement, 99736.
Did you sign that? Did somebody sign that?
No.
No.
Just me.
Here, we sign it.
What the problem?
We signed this one.
You got it.
Alyssa Sanduski, 46063. Edwin Decatur, 6254. Dwayne Demerit, 74547. Jocelyn Dennehy, 3014. Kiki Donis Wall, 6580. Pamela Frederick, 5726. Ken Gothier, 105739. Jason Grant, 47697. Andrew Gray, 51669. Andrew Greenbaum, 34002. John Isbell, 320.
Which one?
Andrew Greenbaum.
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry.
John Isbell, 32892. Kip Kaiser, 53232. Mike Kilrain, 63503. Peter King, 4052. Albert Kazaka, 95871. Julie Levante, 18639. Tom Leach, 49377. Heather Lindsay, 62286. John Markey, 26632. Elise McNaughton, 3720. Erin Mitchell, 24437. Wayne Robinson, 80258. David Roy, 114589. Brenda Silva, 41867. Jeremy Smith, 42306. Kathy St. Hilaire, 58518. Katrina Tennant, 37502. Don Tilby Jr., 21278. Donna Vadabanco, 113205. Blank 01. Brett Wells, 111795. Janice Mears, 76016. Horace Wood, 158817. And Daphne Wass, 55720.
Whoop,
For a total of $25,000.
go back to, Horace Wood.
Horace?
158817?
Yes.
Okay.
For a total of $25,527.86.
Total of $30,845. So.
You want the blank pen?
Pardon me?
You want the blank?
This is the script.
There, Bill.
Oh, it just shut on this one.
Oh,
Dave's not here. He was
okay.
victim of
I don't want
circumstance.
it.
Alright.
Axon Enterprises, 186. Blow Brothers, 112. Body Armor Outlet, 5099. Comcast, 24980. Crystal Rock, 4446. Todd Donovan, 1250. Eversource, 2002. Firematic Supply, 240. Hartman Oil, $11.25. Health Trust, $11.54. Kimball Midwest, $1,056.02.
Thank you.
LHS Associates, $61.80.
Yeah.
Nespin, $100.
Oh, that's okay.
State of New Hampshire DMV, $32. Oliver Mechanical, $220. Rockham County Registry, $12.50. George Sansucci, $18,000. SAU Treasurer, $185,000. Seacoast Business Machine, $168.40. Sig Sauer, $507.98. Stryker Medical, $1856.32. Trustlow Resource Counseling, $3,486.58. UniFirst Corporation, $26.47. Ballot, $192.68. Verizon Wireless, $430.45. WB Mason, $318.62.
For a total of $214,759.73.
Everyone mark check?
No,
Phil's gonna pass me on, so.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
So we took in $108,000 because we collected $90,000 in current use taxes for
Oh, wow.
Listen, like,
Wilson Way over on Pickpocket Road.
Oh,
We paid the school, we paid $18,000 for nothing. So I had to move $140,000, and we still, as you can see, have over $3 million left. One of those CDs for $1 million comes due next week, so that'll puff up the unrestricted balance. But we're still seemingly in good shape.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
See you in a few weeks. Mr. Kip.
You don't look happy.
He's on.
I'm just normal.
Whoa.
Okay, first, this really isn't the correct address. It's being called 771 Meadow. It's actually lot 46. And this is for a new dwelling, and the name is Justin Kuna,
This is on top of the hill.
on top of the hill. Next, we have, call this one. Well, Wilson Way, River's Edge, and this is for a meter socket for septic pumps.
Just in case.
that's in the clubhouse.
It's at the clubhouse. So we are kind of related to that line. Then we have number 20 Wilson Way, River's Edge, and this is a full house electric. And we have number 19 Wilson Way, full house electric. And we have 4 Haley Circle, Jihad Ali, and this is for a metal roof. Next, we have 187 South Road, Jeffrey McCann, and this is going to be for an addition. And we have 366 South Road, and this is for, Martindale. Frenchy, Louise, and this is for plumbing of a basement, rehab.
These are all one chapter.
So, I tried to separate.
No, I think they're all included in one.
It has happened before.
I can't believe that.
It's the paper clip's fault.
Yeah.
Get the Haley Circle application, Phil was found, he didn't sign it.
Tell him his signature's not on there.
Right, I had an X.
Oh, okay,
As a reminder, I'm going to be seeing him this,
okay, okay.
anything else?
We should probably touch base on 3 Smith Road. Since I did go out there, did you look up any code? How are we doing with code? What did you find? I know you were gonna talk to Kathy,
In regards to,
whether or not there was a time frame for trailers to be on there.
that's something that, I'm not finding in the zoning book, so
Okay.
it would end up being in an RSA, but beyond that, it doesn't fit a legal description of a dwelling.
Right, okay.
And I have referenced those types of codes in the letter that I have.
Okay. And he's come in twice, and how's that gone?
I've only actually spoken with him once, and I made notes of that meeting.
Right.
And I don't know if you know the whole board or just yourself and Karen. But
No, I
they-
didn't get an email.
So, we'll make those available to you, but basically the conversation was, that he disputed, the sewage and dumping in wetlands. And, didn't understand why I
Yeah.
lived there, and so I pretty much explained that's what I saw when I was out there. And that it couldn't be used as a dwelling.
And what did we, yes?
We've gotta get in touch with Kevin Davey and Neil Villadell. These are the supervisors of the subsurface and
Okay.
permanent divisions.
I did post the 2 travel trailers. We're gonna follow back up on the 28th to see where they stand as far as cleaning up. But they're not, I don't think they can be out there, or they've been out there for over a year, right?
Well, one of them's definitely,
Yeah, I mean,
Given
trees are all
roses.
growing around it,
yeah, for quite some time.
So-
And there are more trailers than that, of course, on the site.
In that year, is the planning board having a hearing on it? Kathy,
In regards to,
like how many vehicles are there and stuff like that?
The others are.
I know they're having a meeting on Thursday this week, right?
Yeah, that's just a regular scheduled meeting.
I don't know that, I haven't heard anything to that effect.
I'll touch base with Kathy then.
So, basically, this pretty much sums up what we saw out there.
Okay. The
And-
sewage spilling, the trash
And I
and
did
stuff.
pictures that backed up these items. And so, you know, if you wanna move forward on anything,
Okay, do we send them a registered letter or something, or what does the town do,
When Bob goes out for health inspection, he gives them the complaint form and fills out the violations that he found and the procedure to violate. I mean, if you wanna
Yeah,
send a
and then
certified letter with a copy of that, I
Then
can do that.
I post the trailers themselves.
but
Then
what
you
about the
can't
other
do that.
violations, do we send them a letter or something and say you have so long to clean it up, or?
Well, that's where we have to reach out to like, cause the sewage is getting dumped and there's stuff getting dumped into the wetlands.
Okay.
That's where, I wanted to reach out to DES to see what they do, because it's literally, I don't know, what, 5-10 feet from the wetland?
yeah,
The
and
back trailer?
on the back trailer, it's in the wetland.
It's in the wetland, so,
And the next one, I believe, is also within the wetland boundary when I look at it on the map.
like there was a mattress that caught on fire, or was lit on fire. In order to put the mattress out, they threw it into the wetland.
Oh, good.
So it's floating in the wetland, along with the sewage.
I think Phyllis might have been talking about the 11 vehicles, travel trailers, boats.
Right.
How's that work for?
Electronics, propane tanks, grills, bottles, chemicals, large piles of beer can, other debris, plus you probably have what's considered a junkyard being operated there, so that would
So
fall
that
under,
would go under, they have to
Planning
get a
board?
variance to the zoning board,
yes.
operator's junkyard.
So that has to go probably through planning.
So either give them 30 days to file an application to the CBA or.
I would think you'd have to send them some kind of a letter to say
Yep.
no, not in compliance, and
Does that go
we have-
through us or planning?
Yeah, the
Starts with us, and
That's
then,
with us.
Okay.
So if you want me to send a letter out,
Well, I think the board of selectmen should send a letter.
30 days.
Yep.
Yeah, 30 days. Cause I think I had already done 30 days for the sewage issue and the dwelling issues.
I mean, I just,
Do you wanna do a motion on that, or are we just
I'll make
okay
a
with
motion
agreeing?
that we send a letter.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
I,
Aye. Anybody against? Okay, send one.
I bet that.
so are you going to send a letter
To the selectmen to,
to
well,
either clean it up or
it's gonna have to go to,
ask for a hearing with the planning board?
yes.
So either or?
yeah, I'm gonna, yeah, and it's gonna have to go to Pauline, cause she owns it, right?
Right, right.
And I'll include in there a copy of this so that you don't have to mail it separately.
Yeah.
And then, we can also highlight the points that we had as the health officer issues.
Do you have those copies of the report?
I think we took pictures of it. And
I have a picture of the posting, but that'd be, I think actually I have that, the inspection report.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, anything else, Kip?
On 374, I'm gonna get that right this time. I spoke with Zeke, and, basically, he is supposed to contact me tomorrow or Thursday for a final, time to take soil sample. And I'll witness that, and he needs to get it back to us, and I told him, otherwise my recommendation to the board is to start, assessing fines.
Okay. What's the fine schedule, or what do we?
It's, I believe in this particular item, it's $100 a day. And there's a cap, I think it's 5,000. I can't remember exactly, but.
There's still a mattress on the side of 125 too. All the other junk is gone, but there's still a mattress kicking out around there.
You're
Yeah.
gonna be getting rid of the cooler, or?
I think that's what item was all cleaned up.
One cooler is gone. The other one, I didn't look today. It may be gone, but I asked him to put them inside the building, if nothing else.
Cause he's beyond this,
Way beyond.
yeah, he's way beyond the time scale. I mean, this has been
Correct.
going on recommendation from you of, this is where we stand.
Last time we spoke about it, you wanted to use a softer touch, so we've extended. But at some point, we gotta put some teeth into it.
Anything else?
Not that I'm aware of.
So you're going
Oh.
out there this week? sometime.
I can't physically force him, but, we have an agreement that it's gonna get taken care of this week. We did send out an RFP for the erection of these block and steel sand and salt sheds. And we did not get a response.
Yeah, so now what do we do?
So I will try and solicit directly.
Did we had someone who came to the town meeting and said they would be interested in it?
We came and got the specs, they've never seen it.
Yeah, we did.
That wasn't for the shed, that was for the
The pool building.
pole building.
That's all
Um,
going.
Alright, and then anything on, we got the fire alarm panel, replace battery or panel?
I'm gonna do a little bit more research on that to see if it's just the monitoring component or the panel itself. Cause the pricing that she gave me was only $100 difference between the batteries and the monitoring. So what's happened is that panel out there has been showing a trouble signal since that transformer was on Hague last week. So the fire department came by and silenced it. She said it was the battery that's causing the trouble signal, that's why they can't reset it.
Is that what's going on with the magnet too?
Yeah. That's what she says, but it's like 400 and something for the I think it's 468 for the battery. And then the quote that she gave me was $495 plus 100 for labor for the radio monitoring, so almost makes more sense to just replace it, but I just wanna make sure I have all the information before we Bill said look it over before we go that route.
Alright, I think that's it, thank you.
Have a good evening.
So you are gonna reach out to see if we can get somebody to be interested in it.
Yes. I'll keep you posted.
And, anybody wanna make a motion on the minutes?
I make the motion, we accept the minutes of this is David Michaels.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No, let's go. Chief,
Which one?
PD. Ellen, come on.
Chief PD?
Chief for the PD. She said, which one? I'm like, PD.
Oh, they're both sitting next to
I
each
know,
other.
that's why I was like, Chief. Oh, he's there too. But he's behind somebody.
I can see.
He's
It's another
I
chief.
didn't see me when I saw
We
her.
have a room full of chiefs, so.
There's a lot of me to hide you.
I looked at you and I didn't see him.
I'm about to be that guy.
He's not on the panel.
We're discussing the ACO, SOP, correct? So I guess, you have some feedback for me, my understanding is.
I have some suggestions, but I don't really get into the whole thing of it, but there are some things that you should probably know. There is no contract shelter, there is no contract kennel. That's by the wayside, that happened a long time ago. They charge a fee for the SPCA, for example, I think that's what you're referring to.
Yes,
Okay.
so you're saying no contract?
So there's no contract per se.
Mhm.
They charge by whatever action you take. For example, if you take a dog there for rabies quarantine, they charge us a fee. I think it's $3.50 for 10 days. So you just need to know that that's, there's not, we don't have it just a pay like we used to pay. It's whatever it is that they do, the service that they do. And they also generally won't work with you unless there's an animal that's in distress. Like if somebody's got too many animals and they can't take care of them, they'll work with us on, trying to place those animals somewhere else, but they won't, you can't just take them. unless you charge somebody with, cruelty. The way I used to do that is I used to try and talk to people about voluntarily giving up their animals. They will take those animals, and that's free. They take an animal that's been voluntarily surrendered to them, they don't charge us for that at all. If you take an animal astray, they'll charge you for that. So, and of course it gets charged to the owner of the animal, but
Right.
generally what I used to do is try not to take things there unless I had no alternatives. So, just kind of work the wise. So there's a couple other things in there that I thought might be interesting to discuss, but for overall, it's whatever way you want to do it, that's the way you need to do it. I think not doing wild animals is probably going to surprise a lot of people in town. But again, that's kind of up to you.
Time will tell.
Fish and Game doesn't do the wild
Fish and
animals.
Game doesn't. Fish and Game will say to you, they live here, you live here, live together. They generally do not come out to help you, okay? I had an informal agreement with them to take care of small wild animals up to, I didn't do moose, I didn't do bear generally. I did do bear out at the school, but generally they did the bigger animals and I did the small animals. So the cutoff that I used to make with them was coyotes and down, I would take care of coyotes and it was up to them. So
Good standard.
it worked pretty well.
Yep.
The point that I was trying to make is that people in town would expect the department to respond to wild animal issues. And I think we had, I want to say 5 or 6 animals that had to be euthanized this year that were diseased, including what I think is probably a rabbit fox was the first one I saw in the last in forever. So that was a little disconcerting. There were some raccoons that were rabid, but that's not unusual. Anyway, I don't have a whole lot to say about it. Just
So how would we respond to a call for a rabid raccoon with this new format? If we don't do wild animals, we would still respond.
Yeah. I mean, I anticipate the new ACO, once they're up and trained, will most likely handle those calls. I mean, it's gonna be a case-by-case basis, and there's a lot of different factors that will go into that.
Have you had any applications or?
I have, as a hard applications, meaning actually submitted to me in paper format, I have one for the ACO, but we have also put it up online, so we have to see what we have there as well.
And is it a certified police officer?
Not for the ACO position,
It can be either
the
one.
one
It
applicant.
can be either or, yeah, I just was curious if it was
well, you know how I feel about the radio, so I would suggest that you do whatever you can to get a radio for the ACO. If it's just going to be, if it's not going to be a certified officer, it's going to be an ACO. I would suggest that you talk to the sheriff's department about getting a radio for that person, because I think that's really important.
No, I don't disagree with what you're saying. I did have another conversation with Major Melanson this past week, and once again, I did express your concern to him, and he's pretty adamant that if they're not certified, whether it's part-time or full-time, that they're not gonna have access to the radio. So,
Is there a radio out there that you can just have someone go to the police department? I mean,
yeah,
I don't know enough about that.
Yeah, there is, you can broadcast on the, and you can transmit on the town channel. During the day, that's when Christine's in there, it shouldn't be an issue to be monitoring that town channel.
Okay.
When you're after hours is when you're gonna run into issues, because
No one's there.
no one's there. So you're almost better off just relying on a cell phone or the issued phone at that point, would be my suggestion to that. I mean, it's definitely, it's, I see both sides of the issue for sure.
Okay.
I mean, that's, like I said, I definitely see both sides of the issue, but the sheriff has got a position, and I understand his position, and I understand your position. So it's,
It will be what it will be.
Alright, so what's the board's thoughts on this? Do you guys want to have her take a look at the contract things that's in there, or are you okay with what's written?
I'd like to maybe look this over again and
Okay.
maybe bring it
Bring it
forth.
back, okay, that's fine.
I think that would be probably the
Do
best.
you want me to throw some things at you privately? Or?
You sure can do that, Bill. I absolutely, I'm more than happy to sit down with you.
I think I expressed myself too, but I would be more than happy to sit with you again and go over this together with you if you would like.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think the radio is a big sticking point for me, but there's,
It's up to the sheriff, it's out of our.
well, I understand that, but I think that
Did you
could
know
present a
George-
real
George
liability
Harris's
to the
wife
town.
died?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah.
What's that?
Oh, thank you for telling me.
Yeah, I got it, they're not having any service or anything.
Okay, yeah, that's,
I didn't hear.
George Harris, his wife died.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah. I'm sure she knew, cause they
I
work
did
at
know
Cigna.
George.
Yeah, yeah,
He
he
was
was
too
a-
bad.
yes.
So, okay.
So basically, I'll sit down with you in the next
Yeah.
couple of days and, tweak, there's not much to tweak, just maybe a tweak here or there and, whatever you wanna do to come to the standard. I think you need to have a standard, and I'm sure people aren't gonna do it the way I did it, cause it just sort of went
Well,
along.
everybody's got their own style,
I understand.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem,
Okay.
absolutely, looking
Great.
forward to it.
Perfect.
And Chief, if we need a contract facility, I think we have a couple businesses in town that now board dogs, so it might be something to look in to see if
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
one of them
Well,
wants to
you
create
know,
a contract.
I've pushed for a couple of years to get some kind of a kennel facility out at the highway shed, which the last iteration of that was to get a shed with an outdoor, indoor kind of doorway thing and a heater for couple dogs. That would, in the long term, would be the least expensive option available to us, because if you're gonna board somewhere else, it's gonna cost more than it should.
well, we can look at that to see what the cost would be associated with that, if we were to put something like that in place.
Yeah, cause that cost really would be probably passed on to the owner in the end, right?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, so,
Cause there's gotta be I would think there's a liability aspect for having that.
Care of the dog.
And then if we have it sitting at the highway shed and something happens to one of the highway
Well,
workers, that's a
if
problem.
we had a kennel facility like that out there, the animal control officer would be responsible for checking. It says in here, actually, I think you've got that, the time frame for checking on the dog, make sure the dog has water and food, and, in cold weather it's warm, and in the hot weather it's not exposed. So what generally happens is after a couple of hours, you can usually locate the dog's owner, and so rather than charge people money, what I used to do is try and find the owner, and we have the equipment to locate. We have microchip readers, town tags are very valuable to find the owner. So it doesn't usually take more than a couple hours to find the owner.
yeah, and I put it on social media and.
Yeah. So rather than put a dog in a facility that's gonna charge the owner, I try to minimize the cost. And if it's a regular occurrence, you then say to somebody, look, if I have to come back again, you're gonna get fined. So, that
Mhm.
option is always available. It was more of a service than anything else, I think, so. Anyway, however the board wants to do it, it's up to you. It's up to you.
Anything else?
I just have a couple, the pickpocket road, with the request of lowering the speed limit from 30 to 25, I know my,
Well, I was talking about that, I'll bring up Linda since she's on the
Yeah.
agenda for that.
Linda,
My husband's got a
Come to the table?
sure, come on down. You're next contestant.
What's the level?
This is a.
Are we unbalanced?
Audio visual.
Are we
It's
unbalanced?
an audio visual prop that we're gonna
Mr.
send
Chairman,
around the road.
so that you can measure the slope of the drainage.
Is that what this is? I don't know what
I
that.
thought it was that we were all off level.
No, no, no.
That too.
Off the rock or off the?
Well, we are.
Where?
That's a donation you want to do all of it. Where at?
But thanks for taking time tonight and putting Linda and I on the agenda. She and I kind of drafted up this letter, and I was trying to figure out how long it has to be before we call it a manifesto or something. So I realized it rambled. After 13 years of living on Pickpocket Road, we've seen a lot of changes. We live right at the corner of Rowell Road and Pickpocket, if you're not familiar, 162, the old Carroll House. Bill and Carroll lived there for 30 plus years, and we were fortunate enough to buy that. And What we've been seeing, over the last 13 years is just to follow the email, if you will, is a ton more traffic on the road. And with more traffic is coming greater speeds, we believe more accidents, more vehicles off the road. And in our opinion, we watch the corner pretty regularly. It's just becoming an unsafe road to walk on, push your stroller on, ride your bike on. We have horses and carriages, and we get honked at probably every other trip we're out there, just on the edge. People just don't wanna give way, yield way, slow down, if you will. With that, we're seeing an increase in truck traffic. You know, one of our questions was, what constitutes, or what is the penalty for not following a throughway, you know, no trucks or no through trucks? What does that mean, you know, when no through trucks? When Old Dominion uses the road every single day, because I think GPS technology now, it's the shortest route between exit 8 and Riverwoods or Route 111, and the truck just gets off and follows the road with no regard to the sign. And so now we're seeing that constantly. And I know, you know, Wayne, as the road agent, has done a fantastic job trying to maintain the road. And right in front of just our little piece of the road, the asphalt is already breaking apart, it's falling in, it's in my lawn, just because of the traffic, and a lot of it's trucks. It's landscapers, dump trucks, you name it. You know, you don't have to belabor the issue. I guess, what can be done about through trucks? Is it enforcement? You know, can we ticket them for if there's no business on the road for using it through traffic? And I guess that was just a kind of a question we threw out. This is not by any means an indictment of anybody, or because I think everybody's doing a good job of what they have. I think Linda hit the nail on the head earlier. We're here just to kind of beat the budget season. I mean, we're already submitted our budgets to the town east of you. I know we're in the process, and if there are things that can be done, or perhaps a recommended purchase or change, I hate to do it after the budget's been set. I just wanted to have a dialogue with the department heads and you.
Have you seen more of an uptick in traffic with trucks and stuff since they've been building a new development, or not?
I don't think so. I don't think that Wilson Way development really has impacted anything, you know, beyond Dudley's Dip or beyond Wilson Way. I think the majority of it, I can't speak for all of it, is coming on off Route 111, Pine and that side. We just see delivery trucks and through, I mean, everybody sees UPS, and I don't even consider that a truck. But when 3 or 4 18-wheelers go by your house within half an hour of one another, it just kind of makes you sit up and take notice. It's like, why are they on the road?
Well,
And I think
Sunday
it's
there were
the
log trucks.
you know, constantly, you know, log trucks on the road, and landscapers with big dump trucks. And I know, who's the landscaper, your buddy up the road?
DC Woods.
You know, DC was on Crosser next to that now, but anyway, and we're more than happy to work with, you know, the police chief and all that long
What's
term.
the
But
speed limit on that?
30.
I believe it's 30. We've asked the question, how can we work to get it reduced to 25? And it's funny, I didn't even put in the email because originally I had scoffed at, a neighbor of mine brought forth a recommendation to put a stop sign on Pickpocket at Michael Bennett Road. And I said, nobody stops a through road. But after almost getting hit coming out of Michael Bennett Road, because the sight lines looking south are terrible. The crown of the road, the hill and the brush, you can't see. And there's a huge set of black marks on the road from a car that was going over 30 miles an hour because we pulled out in front of it. I think now a stop sign on the road would absolutely be a deterrent if truck traffic and vehicular traffic they knew they had to stop in both directions on that road. It may make it a less appealing shortcut from one side of town to the other side of town. We spoke with and have had a dialogue with the Rockingham County Planning. They did a traffic study this summer, and we asked, why do we do it in July? In my opinion, July does not represent the real traffic on Pickpocket Road. We bought the property not knowing that the SAU is just putting the finishing touches on a $55 million cooperative high school. The minute that school opens, stay off the road between 7 and 7:30 in the morning. It is a steady stream, bumper to bumper, of young people trying to get to school and seeing who can follow who and whatnot. And then it clears out for a while, and then the afternoon traffic isn't quite as noticeable. I think people do different things in the afternoon. But we asked, well, how do we do one in the fall or in the spring when school is still in session to get a real representation of what that road is hauling for traffic? And he's, well, the town of Brentwood could contract with them, and they'd be more than happy to do it again. And so, I don't know why you'd wanna pay, but if they did it again next year or another year, perhaps persuading them to do it during the school season when 9 months of that, the children or the kids are on the road, and faculty, and there's people on the road.
Did we have, somebody that came in?
Yeah, a couple.
Tim Roach was here this week.
Which we paid for that, right?
We
Yeah, but it
are
was-
due through RPC, but
Yeah,
they
it is.
had, through their long range planning, they scheduled to do different traffic studies in different towns and.
I wonder if we could ask him if he could set up something now, just for road traffic.
Yeah, I think it's,
Yeah, now-
if you're willing to sign a contract, they're willing to charge you for it,
Yeah,
then I have no idea what it costs either, it could be a nominal fee,
No,
I'm
but
just
we
throwing
might be
that
able
out,
to
but-
get somebody, we
Correct.
had somebody here from the county that was telling us the things that they do for us.
Cause we pay the fee for that, for their services, so since we pay that fee, she has a meeting with them next week, she can ask.
Sure. So I'm just looking back in his history, twice when they did it during the school season, there were 1,400 vehicles, I believe, a day on the road. The one they did this summer was like 1,000. So there is a distinct difference between traffic during the school season and not. And I'm not sure you're gonna get that much more, the population of the school doesn't change that much, so maybe it is 1,400. But the argument is still, can we do something to slow traffic down on the road? I realize, you know, there's often only one officer on, he cannot camp out on pickpocket, we get that. We'd love to see an officer cruise by, we'd like to see the cars on the road, we've offered our driveway as a spot, just camp right here and do what you need to do, you know, to the vehicles, and when they're there, I think they do a great job. I think some of the statistics that we're able to find, I think people are stopped on the road, people are reminded. One of the things that Linda brought up today was, could we look into budgeting a speed limit sign that's, regardless whether it's 25 or 30, flashes if you're going 35. Again, I mean, I drive a marked car, I kind of look at the things and go, yeah, great, but I have physically seen people slow down because the sign's blinking. Whether it's on 27 by the high school, whether it's on North Road by the county home.
Right.
I just think people see it and they immediately slow down because it's a reminder, you're going more than 30. Maybe that'd be a great thing on pickpocket as a crossroad, just as a reminder. And I know they're not cheap, you know, $2,000, $2,500 for the smallest one, but maybe it's something we could talk about putting up just as a reminder. And again, we're only here because it's budget season, and could it be something incorporated into a police department or highway department budget to talk about the speed and things of that nature. So you brought up the 30. Is there anything we
Yep.
can do to get it down to 25?
Well, this is, you know, I read your email, and we've done a number of directed patrols, and on the heels of that email that we received. So I went out
What
there.
is directed patrol?
Directed patrol.
That's,
It means that
I saw that, and I'm
yeah.
like, what, does that mean he drives by?
Yeah,
Does he sit?
we're saturating that area and looking for violations. We've done, there's been a number of warnings issued. You know, I put out an email to the officers on Pickpocket Road based on the speed as well as the trucks going through there. So they've done pretty well. I ran the numbers here. We've done a number of directed patrols when I received your email. So I'm not opposed to dropping the speed limit, but before we do that, I wanted to see, you know, how we're making out with the directed patrols to see if we're having a decrease without having to lower the speed.
Sure.
The traffic sign, excellent idea. As you know, we don't have one. I did check in with Fremont because they do have one, but it's not working. So that's kind of out of the options at the moment. But I do think that that's really a good idea, and I think that you do get some success with that. As far as the through trucks go, there is an ordinance and we can enforce it. What we need to do though is make sure that they're not going there, you know, somewhere in between for a legitimate reason. On Wilson's Way, they're doing construction there, they have a reason to go in there. So what the officers have to do is actually see them enter Pickpocket Road, follow them all the way out. And right now, we haven't had anybody from the directed patrols. It's not to say that that's not occurring, it's just, so I think what we could do to assist with this would be maybe doing that time frame of maybe 06:30 or 07:30 for that time frame where you're getting those students, because I know Pine Road gets pretty busy during the school hours, so there's no doubt in my mind that there's an increased flow of traffic there. So we'll see if we can do some more directed patrols in that particular time frame. and give me a couple of weeks and see what we have. I mean, if you see anything that's decreased, or, you know, we can work on the traffic sign, and then, I just wanna exhaust some measures before we go in that.
Sure.
You
Area.
mentioned the line of sight off of Michael Bennett.
That's just the way the road is laid out, though.
Is it,
Correct.
would it help if the shrubs got cut back, or?
Well, I mean, again, I'm just a dumb fireman. I look at things pretty damn practical.
Well, if you're pulling up with a fire
That's
truck.
good, we wanna know that.
Would you feel it would be
Obviously-
beneficial to cut the shrubs back?
The answer is yes.
Okay.
But I don't live in the Johnston's piece of property that owns the field, and I know that the little shrub cutting device has already been around, cause I've seen the results of it. It's just the trees are outgrowing over the road, and it's not just the shrubs. There's a great little crown, very short little crown in the road, that when we repaved the road, let's turn the clock back to '07, and then it would have been great if that was just chopped right off. It wouldn't have affected anyone's driveway. There are no,
Scenic road, right?
well, okay,
That-
let's go there for a
There's
second.
another question.
What constitutes that being a scenic road, and why is it a scenic road?
There was a pass that way.
I get it.
Town meeting.
So what do we get for having a scenic road?
We won't take down your trees, we won't take down your, no, we won't mess with any stone walls, it's protected basically.
We begged them to cut some trees, so you're not gonna offend me about the trees this
It's
summer,
protected.
But you could go 25 and enjoy the scene.
I have.
Usually fall, I think.
The chief may back me up on this, but you can lower the speed limit, but it's not gonna make people.
Of course.
Oh, God, no.
Of course.
But-
Like South Road, you know, the speed limit's 30, but you come down that hill, people are going 45 and 50, and I know we have director controls and increased enforcement. And what turns out is that not people passing through, it's people that live there. They just lose track of how fast they're going, and just like coming up over that hill, you don't realize how fast you're going until someone pulls out in
Catch
front of you.
I get a kick out of Rowell Road, right on our property line, because we have Black Coast Rowell with pickpocket, there's a 30-mile-an-hour sign. I don't think you can go 30 miles an hour on Rowell Road. It's really unsafe to do it, between the hills, the corner, and then, God knows you guys have discussed the dirt section enough on the end. 30 miles an hour is an unsafe speed for the road, but it's posted 30, because I think that's a typical speed that most rural roads are posted. But I don't disagree with it. I can post it 20 miles an hour through a school zone, nobody's gonna go 20. I get it. That leads us right into the next phase of our concern that we've had for 7, 8, 10 years, is it's the road in front of our home and the pavement in front of our home. And I know we've talked to to Wayne several times, and he does a great job with what he has to work with.
Chief Wilson.
You wanna bring Wayne
Yeah,
up,
bring
because
Wayne up if you're all
I don't mind, and we would love to work with you.
Yes.
Chat and back and
Yep,
forth.
don't
back
hesitate
and
to
forth.
call.
Thank you,
It'll
sir.
take a couple of weeks to see if we can make it somewhat of an impact, and if not, then we'll move in the direction of 25 miles an hour. And the last thing I wanna say before Wayne gets up here is that, we got voted in the top 20 of safest
I saw that,
towns.
yes.
So I just wanna,
Isn't that amazing?
yeah, I mean, we've all done a great job with that. We're number 16 on the list, and, you gotta take the kudos when you get them, so.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Oh, downstairs in my office I do, but, call the PD and, yeah.
Super.
Okay.
And we'll see if we can get out there a little bit earlier than we
Do
get
you,
out there.
I have one, that one. Does she want a card?
Yes, thank you. See, that's what it takes, right?
Here's the chief's card.
That's right. Call somebody who cares. Thank you so
I
much.
usually have them in my pocket.
7:10. You don't need to
That's
set
right,
your,
7:05
you do
is
not
fine.
need to set your alarm if you have to get up at 7:15.
Yeah.
Just listen to the kids.
Yeah,
And then, I mean, our problem is our house is,
Right there.
20 feet off the road.
yeah,
I
yeah.
know.
I can't believe we haven't been hit.
Wayne, can you bring some rocks?
that's.
We're the fire department, right?
That's in the conversation.
Okay,
Cool.
all right.
Thank you.
Thanks,
so
Chief,
much.
I appreciate it. Wayne, come on over.
So the whole crux of that is Wayne gets comfortable. And why we asked about a scenic road is tongue in cheek. I asked a question a few years ago when the development below us, south of us, the sign says Barnett Woods, but I can't never remember Spruce Road was up in there. whoever was building that approach painted a yellow stripe down the center of the road, almost from the Exeter line, right around the Crossroad Bridge up past, and I said, what a great idea. People today don't understand, have a hard time keeping it in their lane, and I can see this, a seam in the pavement, but when you're coming around the corner from the south toward the north, in other words, from Exeter towards Route 111A, it's not uncommon for people to be on the other side of the road. And they're on my side of the road, and now vehicles in front of my house are in my front lawn, breaking up the pavement, spitting all the rocks all over the place because they're just being crowded off the road. And the same happens all over, Dudley Dip. Just the flow of the road pushes your car, if you're going north on Pickpocket, into the oncoming lane constantly, especially if you're going over 30 miles an hour. So the question, how come we just can't follow a yellow line down the road to tell people which side of the road to stay on, was the question. And is it a scenic road? Doesn't matter if it has a quick yellow line down the road.
I don't know how that works.
How does that work?
Wait, how's that work?
How's that work? We could keep
Well,
going.
some towns, I know some towns, Epping did it, I know their back roads, they all got yellow lines on them now, over there in Epping.
Because people were
but
encroaching
that-
on the other side.
That's, I think you have to hire somebody private, I think it has to be voted by the town to do that. I'm not sure how that works, and I know before, when they had marked roads, they'd be state roads. And they're, all the state roads are marked, they got yellow lines on them.
But I would just put a single yellow line, not a double yellow
Yeah.
line. I don't want one
But I
line
know
over
it's,
the net, just a
I
single
mean,
yellow line.
I don't
down
know,
the
I don't
street.
know how you do that, and if you have to do that through town meeting or what, to put that on.
There you go.
I don't think
Yeah,
we have to go through town meeting. I think it's just your preference, but I'll double check.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how they can do, but and then you just hire somebody private that does it. That's what Epping did, I'm pretty sure that's what they did.
And does it matter if it's a scenic road or not?
I don't
Why
think so,
would that
you put it
matter?
on any road you don't wanna do
Because
it.
Can't
it's a
get trees to do this, can't do
it's a
that.
visual road, so
But
when
it's
people
not
enjoy the
scenic.
drive, it's the purpose of a scenic.
I would just.
Somebody can
We'll
probably.
leave it up to you guys, we're just throwing it out there, we appreciate it.
Well, again,
I'm just gonna go down there with a
It's the
bicycle and
budget,
spray
you know,
paint.
throw it in the
Oh,
budget,
yeah, it's-
you know?
Chop people in the baseball bat, just try to
ask
keep
for
it
the
straight.
world.
It's gonna cost money.
Oh, yeah.
No matter how you look at it, it's gonna cost money, but it also, the way I look at that, especially that road down there, because the kids are all over that road. You go down there and work, you gotta be very careful, cause they're not going the speed limit, they're usually going over the speed limit, and they come around them corners, and
Do you think it would, how much, and, cause you order the signs and stuff for us, how much does it cost for those speed limit signs that flash until people are at normal speed?
those are quite a bit of money.
I thought somebody said.
The
we
cheapest we
went
found
online, right?
online was 2,200, the cheapest, they go to 15 grand,
Big,
you know, they're big bucks.
Big time.
And some of it's because they record a whole bunch of traffic. They can record every vehicle that passes it and what its speed was, did it slow down? And I think the more electronics, the higher the price. If we just look at
Some
the
are
return.
only taking pictures.
But it's still, it's significant money in the
Yeah.
budget. And
The county
it's
just bought two, I'm sure we could ask the county what they spent on them.
Yeah, a little
Yeah,
short
they,
yellow
they,
ones.
they one that's on the ground and then one that's on
Yeah,
the
those
post,
three.
and that's what I had put in the.
Do they take pictures?
I don't know.
No,
Most of them don't take pictures, they just record.
That's a misconception
that's
of the
that
police chief, but it's
15,000.
picture license plate thing and find the license.
Some of them
Send you a
do.
ticket.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you pay,
Yeah, then you're up in the
All right,
20,000.
I know time's getting short. Wayne and I, at the intersection of Rowell Road and Pickpocket, have kicked more rocks around, have literally chewed more dirt over the last 10 years than I care remember. I have a complaint, not against Wayne, but against the road. When we bought the house in Villa Lane, Carroll, the road was paved, but the corner was more sloped like a grade, so when the water ran out of Rowell Road, it literally ran across Pickpocket and dumped into the field across the street. No harm, no foul. In fact, we've already talked to the owner over there, and they set all the water anyway, regardless wherever the culverts are. When the road was dug down and rebedded and paved in either 07 or 08, I don't remember when, it wasn't long after we moved in, it now has the typical country road crown, which is widely accepted, I get it. But what it's caused is all the water comes down Row Road now, and because of the crown, doesn't cross the road, it stays on my side of the road. And it digs significant ditches all the way down the edge and deposits all of that material that is very kindly replaced often by both the Brentwood Highway Department, by Bell and Flynn Paving, whoever goes down there, into my front lawn. And if it does it in my front lawn, it clogs the culvert further down on the northerly property line I have that does cross the road. And Wayne and I have talked about solutions and this, and I say, you know what, I would really like to see is a paved swale, a paved ditch that the water can go in and the pavement will hold and bind together. I don't mind accepting the water. I'm just tired of picking up yards and yards of gravel and rock and fill and having no way to reclaim and fix my lawn, year after year after year. And it's always been, it's either not in the budget or fall turns to winter and there's no time. I get it. So what I guess I'm asking is, it's September. Is there a way we can look at that corner and determine a suitable way to manage rainwater, stormwater, and put it in the budget and prioritize that job so it can have a day or two's worth of work and do the job, instead of begging Wayne to find time and find a few extra dollars that didn't get spent on Prescott Road, or didn't get spent here, or didn't get spent there. I guess that's all we're really asking for, is can we try to put some money in the budget and come to Pickpocket Road and fix that corner once and for all. In the perfect world, a culvert, a catch basin on my side, dug across Pickpocket, and you could even put a catch basin on the other side and continue into the field. The last time Wayne we spoke, the property was over there and he's very agreeable to it. Whether he accepts the water at Pickpocket Row or at the end or 162 and 166, he's getting the water in his field, and he understands that. It's just, where do we capture it and send it across the road? What agreements do you need? What did you say we need to do? Rights away or
Yeah, you gotta put, if you're gonna put it on somebody else's land across the street, you've gotta have an easement to put it in there.
so.
And,
Is
but,
that still in the town's right of way on the other side, or it's beyond that?
It'd be way beyond that.
yeah.
But it does sound like a good project. The UNH has done a lot of stormwater stuff for us.
Well, cause Jamie Hool just emailed me today, cause he was looking for a project, and instead of trying to find something at the VRC, maybe he can,
That'd be a great
That'd
idea
be a great
for
project.
stormwater management.
Wayne would have to, give the labor. The highway department would have to give the labor,
At least if they came up with a plan, we could figure out
how to implement it.
how to implement
If
it.
they're looking for something to do, it's a perfect project.
And like I said, I'm willing to keep the water on my side of the road if the culvert doesn't work. And I know, by the time you do engineering and tear the road apart, we're talking hundreds of thousands with engineering for this storm. I get it. But if we can find a way to keep it on our side of the road, I have a paved driveway, so the driveway doesn't get washed, it's just connecting it and letting it run. We just let the storm water run.
So both sides,
Right, but
both
the other
sides,
side gets it.
Both sides.
both sides are bad.
There's a lot of water comes down over both sides of those hills, and if you put gravel in there, we have put gravel, we have put 4-inch rock on his side of the road, and that's dug in. And that right now is showing, that's still there. The other side of the road, the water comes down over that hill, and in big storms, especially all the rain that we've had, it just washes it right out, and it washes it either in that driveway and on the other fella's driveway across
Oh,
there.
he put rock.
He put some big rocks.
Well, I
mean,
took, you have a picture of that, I said, yo,
And that was a homeowner just frustrated with the
And
amount
he
of.
did that,
runoff
because
and throwing
he
rocks.
was digging a hole down right there in front of his yard, cause all that water goes down, and it goes down into that pasture, don't it, on the other side of the
It
road?
goes into Saunders.
And all the water comes down past his driveway, goes in that little culvert just beyond his driveway, then it's supposed to go across the road, I believe, into that
And
culvert
that's
there.
maybe got that
All the
much
water
because of
goes
all
in
the
that
sand.
other guy's culvert down there in that hayfield. That's where it's all been directed to.
The worst thing, the last time they paved was when Bell and Flynn came, and their stuff never even packed up,
Well,
and it went
yeah.
into the culvert.
When we do, Row Road East, okay, that needs to be ground up and that needs to be paved, and when that's done, then, we only have a short distance because that, all the way down on that side of the road, there's no place for that water to go. Even from the top of the hill, all the way down past the house, it's gotta go right in that. And our best thing shot is to put a paved, swale down through there. We've said that, and we should do that there, we should do it, I have several places in this town that needs to be done, cause we're constantly going there. If it gets too deep, we put stuff in there, and, especially in front of their yard. If we put gravel up through there too much, it lands in his driveway. And,
Okay.
but,
You have a gravel pit going on at this point?
The lawn is 2 inches higher now than
we
it was
would
when we
buy
bought
it,
the
put it
house,
back.
because it keeps all the gravel the town keeps helping with.
Okay.
And I know the storms are getting worse, they're not getting better.
and, nothing's,
And-
there's a lot of wash.
Yeah, yeah.
But we appreciate any effort that can be made, whether it's next year's budget. Like I said, I understand, the town has a budget they work in, and I get it.
And we'll reach out to, see if we can get a study done on it. Sure, start the plan.
And the only other thing on my manifesto was, again, working for the town east of you, without putting a tremendous amount of pressure on the new Consolidated Communications, the old Fairpoint, they will do nothing. The poles will remain in intersections forever. And, you know, the end of Pickpocket Road at Middle Road is miserable. I mean, the line of sight there is just as bad as others. You try to look up the road and you
Ken's
can't
waving.
see.
Yes, Ken?
So-
I represent Brentwood to the RCP, and your problem on Pickpocket Road has been scheduled to be resolved in 2034.
Mix about six, that's about right.
So we promise that it's on schedule for 2034.
Fortunately, I work for a town that has public utilities, and we have been able to exert a tremendous amount of pressure, and we have been getting results from Consolidated.
I think that's
I-
an Eversource pole.
I'm not.
Is that the one, because I know they're everywhere.
That's an Eversource pole, cause we've been trying to put pressure on Eversource for years to get that moved.
Yeah.
But I think only Fairpoint's the only one on it.
Yeah, I think the only thing left is,
Yeah.
the Eversource's credit, I think they've moved their lines, so now it's like the 3 power and cable, I think. 'Cause
Fairpoint, this.
Fairpoint and probably Comcast. or-
Comcast.
Chainsaws fix those problems.
It does.
One has
Which
a
is-
responsible for another,
It does.
for another.
But again, until
Cargo
those
really
lines,
fast.
until those lines come off and get moved, you know, you can't take the pole,
I'm not-
which means you can't fix the intersection.
I'm
We
not-
have a permit to take that pole out,
Oh, do we?
yes, we did. We did that road, that's supposed to be a straight, like.
There was gonna be a T right there?
Up there, that pole, center pole's supposed to be gone, but they haven't.
Will that help, okay,
Is that
say,
permit from 2007?
say that happens, okay, it's a straight T. You still have the issue of the trees that they planted at the end of Pine Road. You have there's a cement barrier so that people don't go into their yards. And there's a lilac and so you have exactly that much space to look in between the trees. And Wade says, it's a state road,
Well,
yeah,
and the
it's a
state says,
Yeah, but
it's a town issue,
it's
so.
it's a state road, but the trees on that guy's property. We've been there, we've asked him, he has cut some of the limbs off for us, but he will not cut that tree down. That tree will not come down. It's gonna take.
Well,
We
where-
can't do it
I
for
just-
right.
Where does the right of way come in? That's where I'm a little confused.
I don't know, all I know is that tree is on his property, and he's only gonna cut so much of that tree out, if it sticks out there in the right of way. He has cut the limbs back, we've asked him several times, and he has done it, he's cut them back.
The lower limbs of that
Lower-
spruce, okay.
Yeah, he has.
No,
He
not
has.
that, no, not that
Well,
guy.
the shrubs through.
Not the guy right in the corner. Go up where Pine Road is in the cement barrier. And then there's lilac trees and cedar trees.
Somebody's
that
trying-
go down
somebody's
the
trying to
driveway.
hide the Jersey barrier, that is at the end of Pine.
Well, the
That's,
town,
that's whose property is that?
I
Todd Bradshaw's.
believe,
Bradshaw's driveway.
It's
Right,
60
sure.
62.
Now we're on Middle
Went down.
Middle Road, you're on Middle Road.
We'll be here at Dalton Road before you know it.
I think it's 62 or 64. So as you come off Pine Road, it's the one straight ahead.
Right, there's a Jersey barrier.
we don't
straight
own
ahead.
that. I mean, we only own what you see for Hot Top there, we went, got into a big mess there too when we did that.
They'll come do what you
And
do.
that is not a 50-foot right of way at Pine Road. We had lawyers involved in that and everything, to get what we got. That's all we're gonna get.
So maybe
But we did go for a free for all with that thing, to trying to get that road wide, especially on this end.
Sorry, I guess we lost that battle.
Well, no, when somebody dies, the lawyers will get together
We have
again.
an old fire truck that can take the utility pole up and down. Is the chief's pull up? Because he told me there was trouble with it. Chief left.
No, he had a 7 o'clock meeting.
Alright,
I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
hopefully that kinda, I mean, we'll try to see what we can get in the study and see what we can do and go from there.
Trying to have the budget.
Yep. So we're gonna-
And then I'm gonna be asking Wayne a bunch of questions.
What's that?
Are you doing Round Road East next year? Is that one of the ones?
Railroad East, well,
That got tabled last
So
one.
Wellington's gonna
Yeah.
keep coming back.
I don't know how you do this, but I am telling you now that I'm gonna recommend that it get done and not even go through any of the people down there. That's all in town property down there. We need to do something because the last rainstorm that we had down there, we almost lost a good portion of that road on this end because it washed out. We fixed it up somewhat. We also been down there several times on the other end and it's just washing out. And wait for these people to say, yeah, go ahead, cut the tree. They don't own them trees, we do.
Nobody's in that line and cut trees.
Then that road needs to be, for safety's sake, that needs to
Is that a scenic road too?
all the trees down there
So
that
we
we
just have to
want
have a
cut are in
hearing and
between
then-
those, the 50-foot right of way, which is stone walls all the way down both sides of that road. And, they're on town property.
So we just have a planning board.
So what, they're
So
on
the planning
town
board just
property.
needs to have a meeting to
Yeah.
approve the removal of the trees, cause it's a scenic road, so they just need to have that meeting.
We've already done it, but the trees weren't cut over the years.
Yeah, they have to do it, yeah.
They're all dead anyway.
We keep hitting them with a plow truck every year hoping that the damn things die.
Well-
They're tough trees.
There's one section down there at Hot Top, hopefully I got a little money left, I'm gonna have to shim that up down there, cause, that plow ain't gonna make it through there with this one, cause it's all broken up, the rain is just,
Right before Lori's house.
yeah, down the hill.
Linda,
I had cones
Linda's
there,
farm.
we went down and fixed it up with somewhat with gravel, so we
Yeah, Leslie, thank you so much for
Thank you.
listening to us, and Wayne will work with Wayne.
We tried to do that before you got there.
Appreciate it, thank you.
All righty.
Alright, well, Wayne, while you're here, what do you got?
that's it, that's all I have.
134.
Um,
Oh, look at that.
The green truck,
North Road is scheduled
green,
for 24.
international that
But
we
we're
got,
gonna take care
it's
of
over to, Scotty's place. We had a problem with the, rear tire, and it's some kind of a stud thing that's on it, I don't know what it is, but anyways, they gotta get one made. And they went to the company, and they, hopefully they're gonna make one, and they get that truck back this year. They've had it almost there probably 3, 4, at least 5 weeks. And they're waiting for that part to come. They can't find that part for that truck. But he said he'll find it, and he'll get it in there, but just so you know, that truck is over there, and we're waiting for the part.
Could you, what are we doing on shoulder work? Cause I've gotten some complaints on,
We've been now doing all kinds of stuff for shoulders.
well, like
What
Gallant
roads?
right now, I got a tree, I took a picture of it,
Where?
on Gallant.
Gotta see this.
Point this out because I was running and I had to run around it. It's about 3.5 feet into the road. I think that's beyond the right of way. It's on the pavement,
We never got a call. Where is that?
on Gallant.
Shouldn't have to get a call on it, the wind plow has to take half of it out in the winter.
It's literally like, I have to run down the road, run around it. It's
Oh,
in the
yeah.
road.
The wind plow just drives around
It
it.
is, it's in the right of way.
Yeah, it's huge.
Sweet.
So I was like,
Put that on your list for tomorrow.
that's really big.
That's on Glant Road?
That's on Gallant, yeah.
Okay.
So if you could take a look at that. Unless you want me to go out with my hedge trimmer.
Oh, and before we, do you have more for,
Um,
I was done.
I have one before.
go ahead.
I spoke with, Brian Scott today from DOT. So he said he was okay with the slope of that first hill. What he's concerned about is the apron and the radius when it comes to North Road. So, in John Bell's letter, it said he wanted to match the radius that's on the 111A side, but there was no plans or permits from when that other side was done. So Brian's trying to find that from the DOT, that research, to back that up. So he said in the next day or two, he'll get back to me on that. But that's what the whole.
So we're still on, I know we opened up Prescott.
We're gonna cut those trees, well, we're supposed to do it today, but, couple of the guys in the, tree company didn't show up, so they're gonna do it tomorrow. They're sending another crew down here tomorrow, we're gonna meet them down there first thing, and that's the other thing, those trees gotta come down, and we're gonna have to close that road, cause we're gonna lay the trees down. So that end of that section of that road is gonna have to be closed while we do it.
Can you do it while school's in session?
Now,
So wait till after
we'll let the
buses
school,
in?
we waited today, we let the school buses go through, and then at 9 o'clock, usually the school buses are all done, and, we're gonna commence fire on those trees down there.
Okay. And I know I had a complaint, not letting traffic out of Robinson, that neighborhood, it's the Meadows.
Well, we'll hot
Brown
off.
Forest, Robinson, I think it's the Meadows. Mohawk, that whole neighborhood.
Yes.
When we were putting that top coat on top of Hague and Lake Road.
No, they came out.
There was one.
We couldn't let them drive over the hot top. Once we did, we went down, we did the left side first. We did the left side first all the way down to all the way down the end. And then when they did come up to do the other side, all the trucks have to back all the way down 111A. But we kept that open down the, Row Road, east, west, I mean.
Yeah.
They had to come in, they couldn't drive over because they were gonna run it, but we kept that open so they could go out the other way, until we got a road.
The person that complained said they couldn't get out on Hague, and then went over to the other side, and we were told no for that side too.
Oh, I
so
had
they
a
were
couple
stuck in
people.
their neighborhood.
Yeah, I had a couple people that tell me that, but I was on the Hay Grove side, and we let them in there, cause they finally got it rolled down by Road West there. Once it rolled, some of them had tried it, the hot top came right out of the paver, it wasn't even rolled, and they got by the guys and they drove right across it. Pulled her in, drive her across it, you can't do that.
So you don't
Yeah.
complain.
So we did try to keep it open all the way through.
Oh, and
At some point, there's gotta be at least a 10 or 15-minute waiting period there.
You
You
have
can't
to
go across the fresh space.
I don't know
When
if
you
we
go
should
up
give them notice that
125
we're doing that.
to the BRC,
They
those
need to get
bushes will be
scheduled out,
cut, 'cause you just
say
see the
we're gonna be
BRC.
paving it on this day.
Yeah.
We said that.
But I've been meaning to tell you that for like 3 weeks.
Alright. Go.
I don't know the board's feelings, but we've opened Prescott Road, but we have no construction signs, and the end of Prescott Road's all torn up. What's the town's liability when somebody goes off the edge into the nest that we've created at the end of Prescott Road, at North Road? We have no construction signs, all we have is cones out. And we've torn up the North Road end, so I understand we had to open it for school buses, but now we have a problem of
No signs.
no signs,
Didn't we have
no,
it closed? Didn't we have it closed for?
it's no longer closed.
It's open now because of school.
Right. So I just think we need to do something at that end, either put, I don't know,
What signs would you typically put?
signs, a barricade, I don't know, something that,
Pass at your own risk or something like that, right?
well, we didn't wanna do that because that was more liability, but. Do you know what I'm saying, Wayne, is now we have that whole end torn up and the only sign there is a bump.
That's a bump sign, but this is dirt road, and it's nothing actually changed, on the road, it's just dirt.
Well, it did change, we blew up the whole end of it.
We blew up the
There's
Y.
a hill, there's a cliff now that if you were taking a left onto North Road,
That's why we got the cones up around there.
put a
I mean,
cone.
that road's only 25 miles an hour coming in and coming out, so, I mean, I don't really see any problem there at all, it's no different than
Could we
going.
put a caution sign up?
What's that?
Could we put a caution sign up?
Yeah, I mean, that ain't gonna slow them down.
I don't know, I
That's
just-
gonna help us though, if we just.
That's not, I mean, it's wide open there, it's wide open, everybody knows it's there, I don't see a problem there at all.
Problem is everybody doesn't know, cause you're gonna have that one person that's following their GPS and is gonna drive off the road. That's my only question, and my other question was is, when are the guardrails being done on bridges?
Guardrails, John's been working with two different companies. And I know they've been trying to get it together, and, I know one of them, he's been having a hard time getting information from them, but, CWS, last I knew, that he was in contact with them, and they're trying to get everything, I mean, those guys have booked right up, they
Well, I
just
mean,
get it
the
off
other
and-
side is down by
You know.
the cabinet company has been done since June. We couldn't get guardrails installed in 3 months?
I don't know. I know he's been working with them, and that's why we put the blocks up there to.
I mean, try to, if you could, touch base with John and just say, we can get it done. See if he can give us a timeline. When can he get somebody up there to do that? Cause that's part of that whole project, so.
I have no idea.
Cause the road was supposed to be completed if we did it according to everything, would have been done before school went back into session, so it
Yeah.
was supposed to be done before, I think, 4th of July. So, if it was completed on time, which the bridges were, we should have had the guardrails done already. So, if you could get a timeline for us and get it back to Karen so we know, I'd like to get that, at least before our next meeting, I'd like to have that done.
And those are safe because they have Jersey barriers, so it's more aesthetic at this point and just the fact that they should have been done by now, but they are safe because there's Jersey barriers there.
What are we doing about the signs on the end of the North Road, Prescott Road intersection there? Gonna put a.
Wayne thinks it doesn't need anything, so that's up to the board.
Could we put a caution sign there just to be?
I can get something.
I'd be comfortable having a caution sign. There's, there's gotta be something there. Even if you put up, not the cones, the horseshoe things,
We can't
whatever
close
there.
the road, right?
No,
What about the horseshoes?
but the road is
and
technically still under construction, so I don't know what the signage laws are for a road under construction.
Can we look into that, see what the laws are? And Karen will get back to you, I guess, as far as what we're required to do.
We still want somebody whacking into something and then.
Well,
slowing the town.
thinking it's a T and it's a Y,
Yeah.
and they go driving over these rocks.
Want somebody to get hurt, we don't want somebody to.
That's why I didn't know if we had those horseshoes or something with the yellow.
There's cones up.
Yeah, but you want something up higher, visual, you know, the not looking down, but higher.
You want barricades? I could put
Uh,
buses with barricades out there.
Right over
Like
that,
this.
over the Y.
Right around. Instead
do
of
that.
those, they stand up
That would
this
work.
high.
Yeah, that would work.
You could do that.
It's like putting a fence around it, it's fine with me.
Put the barricades out there.
Yeah, that would be good.
I guess, yeah, that would probably be enough.
And if all else fails, we could just, John still left his excavator there, so we can just hold that hostage. I think we own it now as abandoned property, it's been
We
there
can
so
just,
long.
we can just park it over it. There's our barricade, okay. Yeah, if you could get on that, and then, I just know, I've gotten several complaints about the shrubs too, and then me running around, cause I run, and I've been noticing that there's a lot of shrubs, and it's probably just because it's season, cause I've had to go trim my shrubs, just in my yard, so.
We've been cutting trees like crazy.
Yeah, we need a brush cutter, just cutting down, but when I went running the other day on Gallant, I was like, whoa, look at this tree, it's like 3.5 feet into the road.
Yeah, this one here.
And then we got a present that was dropped off, is that for us or for
Surprised no
them?
one said anything yet.
Oh, that's from Bob Sanborn.
The
Oh.
bubble,
I don't know what that is.
It's
Oh,
so
yeah.
that you can measure
so we know what the slope is, I guess.
half inch per foot.
Did he leave that here for us?
Yes, it's a
Is it-
donation.
Is it for the
That's for us?
selectmen or is it for Wayne?
Oh, is that from Bobby?
That's for Bobby.
That's for you.
That's for you, for this.
That's so you can measure the
I don't
So
slope.
you
so.
can measure them ditches, he said.
I guess.
So you know the slope for the dishes.
Oh my
That's
God.
just like your sewer pipe.
Ah, right, right.
Just don't lose the
I
rubber
hope
band.
it's like that
so
in my
when you hold
house,
the
that's
block.
all I pray for.
That was our contribution.
I have a
The rubber band is here?
Have you put that on?
trailer, Bob,
Alright.
where the equipment is for the ACO. Should I give it to you or should I give it to Karen? I'll give it to you. And then whoever,
What's this for?
This is a key where the equipment for the ACO, some of the ACO equipment is stored. Just have a hard traps and some crates and so on. I don't
Oh,
wanna
and it's
have
at the
it.
highway
I
shed?
believe that's it. If it's not,
It's on a,
if it's not, it's this one, in which case I'll switch it over tomorrow. I'm not sure which one it was. One's for the truck and one's for the trailer, so I think that's for the trailer. But if it's not, I'll come find you, cause I know you'll be out cutting shrubs and putting up barriers and stuff. I'll find you.
Anything else?
yeah, we're gonna be cutting trees.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause we
I'll
have
be
a-
able to
we have
find
a-
it.
Yeah.
Or did you wanna,
Did you leave or is he coming back?
Hard to say.
you wanna ask Wayne if he knew of any people that wanna submit bids for the salt shed?
Yeah, do you know anybody?
What's
Wayne?
that?
Anybody wants to go to the salt shed that you know of?
no bids.
No bids?
No,
bids.
none.
Nobody
The
wants to
guy
go to
called
salt
me
shed?
the other day, wanna know who got the bid.
Nobody. Tell
Nobody.
nobody.
Said, I said they have to call the town office, cause he said he bid it on it.
Not the pole barn, the salt shed.
Good luck, sir. Salt shed, he told me salt shed.
Was it from Brown
just-
Construction?
What's that?
I don't know, he just called the shed and he said, hey, I wanna know who got the bid.
Good.
And I says, I didn't know they put it out for bid, but, I said, you'd have to call the town office. He said, yeah, I put a bid in and I wanna know who got it.
That must have been Brown Construction, that was the original bid for like 486 or.
Oh, way back when.
Yeah.
Yeah, they outpriced themselves a lot. So if you haven't.
I don't know, who did they put the bids out to?
We put it in the paper, but nobody submitted. Put it back in the paper, put it back online.
So if you know any companies that'd be interested, let Karen know so we can, Kip can send them.
The
The specs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't remember who was in here that says.
Well, that was John Tibbetts. Oh,
That was for the pool barn.
That was
I wonder if
for
he's
Yeah, yeah.
interested in bidding for the salt shed.
John was gonna do both. We talked to him, we already had everything all set with him, but then he came in and saw what he had to do and something.
Didn't wanna do it.
Didn't wanna do it, yeah,
Alright,
okay,
I think
Okay.
that's all I got to do. I
Thank you.
appreciate it, thanks.
great, thank you.
Have a good week.
Yeah.
Eric, did you wanna come up? You wanna come up, Eric?
Sure, this is
I
the.
see you out there too.
Yes, I'm not hiding.
He's
Just
hiding behind.
Waiting for a
Did we ever
moment.
turn on the lights? Again, we didn't turn on the lights?
You were gonna turn on the lights, what happened?
Hiding in the shadows.
I was focused on the magnet not working and trying to figure out why I couldn't get it to work.
No person that's a shiny things.
Shiny things.
Yeah.
I'm easily distracted. Yes, Eric.
Let me be your next distraction.
What's up?
No official business for the board, but you may know that I'm running for state representative for the towns of Brentwood, Fremont, and Danville. And I don't know whether this is typically done, but I've decided that I should go to each of the select boards and introduce myself. And I think I know all of you to some degree from, I've been in town for 20 years. Not quite 20 years, 19, almost 19. Have a 30-year history career in public policy around healthcare access for underserved populations, master's of business administration in healthcare, and looking to apply some of my history and everything to the issues here in the state. So basically figured as part of the process of running, I should let you know that I'm honestly hoping to represent the towns and really engage and hear what's going on and hear where the issues are and the rubs between the town's operations and state operations. I'm sure that could fill quite a session. Basically just wanted to leave these, if that's okay, for folks if you want to hear more about sort of my background or ask any questions. I'd love to see the race this fall filled with actual issues that are really things that the towns are dealing with that at the state level could be improved. So that's not just for me, that's for anyone in the race that's running. And I'd be happy to discuss with anyone any particular issue. But like I said, I'm not really presenting anything here before the board. But I just wanted to make a formal introduction. It's a little easier here in town because I think I met you all before along the way, but I am going from town to town trying to make it make my presence known as more than a sign Yep.
Yeah, good luck.
Did you lose Peter, or?
No, he's, Eric, aren't you running for this,
No, no.
No, no,
Our next person on the agenda.
Oh, sorry.
Seacoast United.
Is he?
Let's see if he's in the hall.
I know he stopped in, I was here meeting with, Karen the other day. He would like to use the baseball field over by the library for baseball practice, stuff like that for little kids. He coaches them. He used to be a UNH baseball coach. He's retired. He sold his home in Durham. He moved here, and he's looking to see if we would be okay, and he would have Seacoast United kids that are on that team for practice. He would have them go over there, clean it up, and get the field usable if they could use it. He would talk to Andy. It's not used right now. Nobody uses.
Yeah, I would say,
It's
why don't you
been-
go through Andy and say yes?
He did step by with him, but then he wanted to come by to see what the board would be okay with them cleaning that up and
Oh, yeah.
using it.
Well, I think,
He went to the library for it already, and they told him to come see the board. He happened to stop in the other day when I was here dealing with the
What do you
health
think
complaint.
about that?
I think it's fine if they're gonna go over there and they're gonna maintain it and clean it and get it going.
Yeah, why not?
It's gonna be a practice section for them, and they're
That's the
gonna.
reason.
Well,
They're gonna
how
put the
long are they
resources
gonna
into
use
it. I don't know.
Oh,
It's not used right now. It's kind of
I
abandoned.
know that.
What do you think?
my opinion is Seacoast United is a
Massive.
huge conglomerate.
Yep.
And if they wanna use it, they should be paying for it. And then there's no parking over there now, so they would have to be in conjunction with the library hours. So, I don't think we should give them the use of the field just cause they're gonna clean it up, but Seacoast United has the money to pay for that, the use of that field.
Mhm. Yeah, and I'm not sure what part of Seacoast United is it. Is it just he's using them to come clean it up? I know he's doing some type of program with kids.
But I know we
Seacoast
charge
United
field use
specific.
to everybody else that we let use the field, so.
Right.
So maybe that's something that should go through Andy.
Yep, I think it should go through rec anyways.
Cause I know.
Is the rec control the one at the library?
That's town on property.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in reality, you should really go through them, and
Was he
we're
up there?
charging for it.
No?
No.
And I asked Andy if he wanted to go that way to use the bathroom, and he said no.
Okay. Oh, there we go. That was what he was here for. Okay, documents.
MS1,
What's that?
the MS1.
Yay.
On time.
Would you sign anywhere, man?
Yeah, I was supposed to add your lines in here, but what happened was is I hit submit and then realized I was supposed to do that, and they won't let you go back and edit it, so I just wrote them down there.
Okay.
All the numbers are still the same now.
Do I need a motion, or are we good?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
So
We
that's
gotta
to
do that.
that's the valuations for the town properties.
We have to do that, that's not.
It's not an option. But I still have to ask.
Oh, yeah, it's good.
You could say no.
That's the
I
last
could say
step, is
that.
now the town portion for the tax
I
rate.
listened to Phyllis's counsel and did what I thought I should be doing on that other issue.
These are letters accepting resignations for William Faria, Albert Kazaka, Evan Crafts, and Jill Gordon.
Wow.
Do I have a motion?
A motion
We're all
to sign
signing
the
these.
Can we read
Great
them?
regret that I formally acknowledge receipt of your resignation. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just acknowledgements. Bill's gonna abstain probably from the
Actually,
zone.
right.
You didn't thank them for their service?
No,
It is.
there's no
Oh,
reason.
you didn't say that.
Oh, is that what they're?
Those are all for different.
They're all different.
Oh, they're all
Every single one is
different,
different. You want me to read all four?
No.
No,
No, that's okay, as long as the ones that
Do I have a motion
I don't need a letter.
to sign them?
make a motion to sign the letters.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody
I don't know if you
opposed?
really need a motion, cause we're each
I
gonna
don't
sign
think you
individually.
do.
Well, you probably, except Bill has to abstain.
I
We
have
made a
to
motion
abstain
last
and
week.
voting, so.
We made a motion to direct Karen to write them.
Bill just don't sign yours.
Right,
Can you sign all the others?
I can.
Okay.
This is an appointment slip for Betty Orchid to serve as an inspector of election.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
For 1 year. Bruce Stevens to be an official member of the ZBA instead of an alternate.
So moved. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
And this is in intent to cut for 9 Pickpocket Road.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second, sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yep.
Alright.
He got another job.
Oh, yes.
You went to
I'm
Bedford,
Bedford.
yeah. I think he's already started, right?
Yeah.
He starts next week.
Next week?
The chief has asked Christine to price out audio for the interrogation room. While she's doing that, do you want to price out separate DVR systems to keep the town and the PD separate? We share one DVR now, and it works fine for the most part. The only issue is if the cameras need to be rebooted and Christine's not here, we have to wait for somebody to come back and do it. Cause that camera, for whatever reason, will pick up like the classroom for down in the PD, even though it's not connected at all.
Might as well get a price.
Yeah,
And
they
just
price
see
it
where
out.
we're at.
But they're
So-
doing audio too?
They were, I think that's what they wanna do, and
The interrogation room.
Could we
You wanna
also
price out
ask them
here
to
too?
price out for up here? Butch would be
Yeah,
very
exactly.
appreciative. Right, Butch?
I didn't hear what you said, Bob.
I asked her to price out for audio for this room.
That would be a great idea.
I second that.
And I wasn't kidding when I said I couldn't hear you. So.
That's alright, I can scream loud.
Put the date on there.
I will do that.
Alright.
Should there be a date in here?
I will put today's date.
Oh,
Kathy gave that to me in between the last meeting, so she, that's what that's for. And I have school on Thursday.
Last class.
Hmm?
Last one?
No, it's the
Is
last.
that it for signing?
Second one. I got like 19.
No, I
Yeah.
don't mean it's the last, I mean it's the last course.
No, it'll go through May.
You're not listening to me. Public, not understanding what I'm saying.
Yeah, this
So when you're
afternoon.
done in May, you're done.
Oh, yes.
Just watching on TikTok.
It's been a long day.
We're all set with documents?
Couple weeks,
We all
but-
set we all set with
I'm sorry,
documents?
yes, I'm done.
Okay. Anything from the public?
You sure?
Mum's the
Yeah.
word?
oh, wait a
No?
minute, I have something.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Two things, actually.
Sure.
I went online and was looking at the street listing, and the date on it is 12/17/17. I think it needs to be updated. How often do they update that? When, every time you run a new one, it's not updated?
I only do the valuations twice a year.
Well, this is
So
the
we do-
street listing.
Right, so we do that. I can do that one.
The street listing, yeah, okay, and then the other thing is, I think on September 11th, I think the people that are working here in the office should close the office at 8:15 and go to the fire station for the service.
We've done that in the last couple of years.
Oh, I know that, but I just think it should be, I always did it because I can just close my office, I don't
One
have to ask,
thing
but
I was curious about is I got the email.
they didn't say what time the picnic was.
No, hold on a second. I had,
I know about the picnic.
he had set it on the schedule for 8 p.m. to 11 p.m.
What?
Bill?
On what?
No, it should only be it only
Cause I
lasts.
hit accept and I'm like,
He might have just,
and I'm like, did he want A or B?
Cause the letter we
Should be
got
just
said
like half an hour.
8:30, and it doesn't last very long.
Well, I put it in I just hit add it to the calendar and I was like, it's
Oh,
P.
I don't know how
He's
to do
got it
that
set
yet,
as
so
P.
I just put it in my phone, but I just
Siri automatically does it for you.
think
But I was laughing because it was 8
that,
p.m.
you know,
to
should put a sign on
11
the door.
p.m. and I know we're not meeting 8 p.m. to 11 p.m.
I haven't had a computer or a smartphone for 5 days.
Oh,
You having
Look at
withdrawals?
you, man.
are you lucky?
It's with, no, my computer, my children
Oh,
asked to use my computer.
Kill
And I
it
didn't
for
know that means we can add some stuff to your computer. And then when they did, it didn't work like it's supposed to work, and then it didn't work, period, and then I had extra browsers that I didn't know crap about.
So next week, do we meet at 4 o'clock at the,
We're
At the
back now.
BRC.
Yeah,
at the
Just for
BRC?
that 1 week, cause it's elections.
right, so that's fine.
And we're 7:30 over there?
I'm gonna be there at 7:30, cause I
So
gotta
8 o'clock, we
make
have
the
to be there by
coffee
8
and stuff.
o'clock?
And I just gotta see what's going on with me for work, because I'm pretty
Well,
busy right now.
at least 3 of us will be there.
David Venter will not be there.
Yeah, I'll be there most of the day. I gotta leave
He's still on vacation.
for like an hour or so during the day, but
Vacation.
I'm gonna try, it just depends what's going on with work, so.
I don't wanna expect it to be,
Is-
unfortunately,
Is it a
as
small one?
crowded as it should be, but
I don't think.
maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised.
Butch, anything?
Oh, God, he's gonna have to ask me.
Don't keep asking.
Get the vote out, Butch, get the vote out.
I think Eric's.
Pack the polls.
Eric's all set? Nothing for the public? She said
Nothing,
mom's the
no.
word. I say motion to adjourn.
What time?
So
Second.
moved.
Second, third.
We're done.
We're done.
And I just